Welcome to Social and Professional Issues subject on the third chapter of Computer and Internet Crime. So what is IT security incident? So these are refers to any event that compromises the confidentiality, integrity, or the availability of information system. So these incidents can range from data breaches and malware infections to denial of service attacks and insider threats. So the increasing reliance on technology and the internet has made organizations more vulnerable to such incidents. IT security incidents are events that compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of information system. So these incidents can have severe consequences for organizations, including financial loss, reputational damage, and legal repercussions. As technology and internet became increasingly integral to business operations, the risk of such incidents continues to grow. Why computer incidents are so prevalent? There are 5 computer incidents that are prevalent. Number 1 is increased connectivity. The risk of internet and interconnected devices are expanded the attack surface for cyber criminals. The proliferation of the internet and the interconnected devices, or the IoT, has created more entry points for cyber criminals. Example is the Target data breach in 2013 that hackers accessed Target network through a third-party vendor, compromising a 40 million credit card accounts. Next is the Mirai Bonnet of 2016. Malware exploited of IoT devices to launch a massive DDoS attack, disrupting major websites like Twitter and Netflix. Equifax data breach in 2017. Attackers exploited a vulnerability in a web applications framework affecting 147 million people. Next is WannaCry ransom attack in 2017. This ransomware spread rapidly across networks, affecting organizations worldwide due to unpatched system. Next is the SolarWinds hack in 2020. Attackers infiltrated the software supply chain, affecting numerous government and private organizations. Next is the Colonial Pipeline ransom attack in 2021, where cyber criminals exploited vulnerabilities in the pipeline's network, leading to the fuel supply disruptions. Number 2 is evolving threat landscape. Cyber threats are constantly evolving with new vulnerabilities attack vectors emerging regularly. So these cyber threats are constantly changing with new vulnerabilities attack methods emerging regularly. So examples are zero-day exploits. Attackers exploit to the unknown vulnerabilities before developers can issue patches, such as Google Chrome zero-day exploits in 2020. Next is the phishing attack. These have evolved or exposed in simple emails to sophisticated spear phishing campaigns targeting specific individuals or organizations. Next is ransomware as a service, or the RaaS. This model allows even non-technical criminals to launch ransomware attackers to increasingly the number of incidents. Number 3 is human error. Many incidents are caused by human mistakes, such as weak password, falling for phishing scams, or misconfiguring security settings. I said a while ago that many security incidents stem for human mistakes, whether it's where password management for misconfiguring or the security of settings. Then these are examples: Yahoo data breaches in 2013 and 2014. The poor security practices of data system lead to exposure of 3 billion accounts. Next is Capital One data breach in 2019. Misconfigure of firewall attackers to access sensitive customers' data. Lastly, the Facebook data breach in 2019 that misconfigured cloud storage exposed the personal data of millions of the users. Number 4 is lack of awareness. Many organizations do not prioritize cybersecurity training, leaving employees unaware of potential threats and best practices. These are the organizations do not prioritize cybersecurity, that leaving to the employees unaware of potential threats and best practices. So examples are: number 1, phishing scams. So employees who are not trained may fall for phishing emails, leading to credential theft. Next is weak password policy. Organizations without strong password policies may have employees using easily guessable password. Lastly is social engineering attacks. Lack of awareness can lead employees to divulge sensitive information to the attackers, posing as legitimate personnel. Lastly, financial motivation. Cybercrime can be highly lucrative, motivating attackers to exploit vulnerabilities for financial gain. These are significant driving force behind cybercrime. Cybercrimes are often motivated by the potential for substantially financial gain, which can be achieved through various illicit activities. The digital landscape provides numerous opportunities for attackers to exploit vulnerabilities, steal sensitive information, and engaging in fraudulent activities. As organizations increasingly rely on technology and digital transactions, the potential rewards for cybercrimes have grown, making cybercrimes an attractive option for many. Examples of financial motivation. 1 is ransomware attack. Cybercrimes deploy the ransomware to encrypt a victim's data, demanding payments, often in cryptocurrencies. To restore access, the potential for high payments makes their lucrative crime. This is data breaches. Cybercrimes often target organizations to steal sensitive data, such as credit card information, personal identifications, and health records, which can be sold on the dark web. Next is credit card fraud. Cybercrimes can use stolen credit card information to make unauthorized purchases or sell the information to others. Next is identity theft. Cybercriminals steal personal information to impersonate individuals, often for financial gain through loans, credit cards, or other financial services.
Let's talk about the types of exploits. We have 5 types of exploits: the malware, phishing, denial of service or DOS attacks, SQL injection, and zero-day exploits. First, let's talk about the malware. Malware is malicious software designed to harm or exploit any programmable device or network. This includes viruses, worms, ransomware, and spyware. Second is the phishing. phishing, a technique used to trick individual into providing sensitive information by masquerading as a trustworthy entity. Third is denial of service or DOS attacks. These attacks that aim to make service unavailable by overwhelming it with traffic. Fourth is the SQL injection. The SQL injection, it is a code injection technique that exploits vulnerabilities in an application software by inserting malicious SQL statements. Fifth is the zero-day exploits. These attacks that occurred on the same day a vulnerability is discovered before a patch is available. Let's talk about the types of perpetrators. So we have 5 types of perpetrators: the cybercriminals, hacktivists, insiders, state-sponsored actors, and the script kiddies. So first, let's talk about cybercriminals. So the cybercriminals, it is individual or groups who engage in illegal activities for financial gain. Second, this hacktivist. So it's have a individuals or groups who use hacking to promote political agendas or social change. Third is the insiders. So the insiders it's either employees or contractors who misuse their access to systems and data either maliciously or unintentionally. Fourth is the state-sponsored actors. So it is a government-affiliated hackers who conduct cyber espionage or cyber warfare. Fifth is the script kiddies. So the script kiddies is inexperienced hackers who use existing tools and scripts to launch attacks without a deep understanding of underlying technologies. So let's go to the implementing trustworthy computing.
Now let's talk about risk assessment. Ano nga ba ang risk assessment? Ito ay isang process kung saan ay ina-identify ang mga possible na risk or panganib sa information assets ng isang organization. So this process includes identifying assets and their value or simply pagtukoy ng mahalagang assets. Dito dapat alamin kung aling data o system ang pinaka-importante. For example, sa isang bangko, yung customers' banking details ang considered as high-value asset which is at risk. Pangalawa is yung assessing vulnerabilities and threats. Here, we look for possible security issues and weaknesses, potential risks and threats. Example is isa sa mga company na na-discover nila na ang employees nila gumagamit ng weak passwords, making them vulnerable to brute force attacks leading to being hacked. Pangatlo is evaluating the potential impact of incidents. Ito sinusuri kung paano maapektuhan ng negosyo or usual processes or operations sa isang company kung may security breach. Halimbawa sa isang hospital, kung may ransomware attack, maaaring hindi ma-access ang patient records which can disrupt medical services. Pang-apat is prioritizing risk based on likelihood and impact. Yung unang mga pinakamahalagang banta, kumbaga nagpo-focus on the most critical threats first. Example is a retail company, prioritizes securing its payment processing system over less critical systems. Punta naman tayo sa establishing a security policy. Security policy provides guidelines for protecting organizational data. So, key components are acceptable use policies for employees. Ano nga ito? It defines what employees can and cannot do, for example, for company resources. Pangalawa is data classification and handling procedures. Dapat alamin kung paano dapat i-handle ang sensitive information. For example, sa isang confidential document ay dapat naka-encrypt muna bago i-send sa email. Pangatlo is incident response protocols. Dito, ina-outline how to respond to security incidents. Example, kung may phishing attack, dapat i-notify agad sa IT department para may block yung sender. Pang-apat is access control measures. Dapat may limitation kung sino ang may access sa mga data. For example, yung role-based access control. Si user at si admin may certain access lang sila. Punta na tayo sa pangatlong part is yung educating employees and contract workers. So bakit nga ba mahalaga na i-educate o i-train ang mga employees or workers? Dahil kadalasan nagsimula sa human error ang security breaches. Part ng educating employees and contract workers is una, regular training sessions on cybersecurity best practices. Sample, employees receive quarterly training on identifying phishing emails. Pangalawa, simulated phishing exercise to raise awareness. Dito, magpapadala ng fake phishing emails kunwari ang IT department para subukan kung aware ang mga empleyado sa mga ganung na schemes. Lastly is yung peer communications of security, policies, and procedures. Usually, within an organization, bago magsimula, for example, ang mga bagong employees, ino-orient po na sila sa mga policies and procedures for awareness.
Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Ako nga po pala si Benny Isinente at ang aking tatalakayin na topiko ay patungkol sa prevention, detection, at response. So, una, prevention. Ano nga ba ang prevention? Preventive measures are critical to reducing the likelihood of security incidents. Ang prevention po ay napakalaga sa atin sapagkat dito po tayo ay makakaiwas sa mga kahit na anumang mga iba't ibang panganib tulad ng hack, phishing, at kung ano-ano pa. So, number 1, implementing firewalls and intrusion detection systems. Ito una. Nakakatulong po ito upang hindi basta-bastang ma-access ng ibang ating mga network. Mainam po ito na i-implement upang maprotektahan po tayo sa mga hackers. Number 2, regularly updating software and applying patches. So, mas okay po na mag-update tayo regularly lalo na po sa ating mga software. Kabilang na rin po ang ating operating system, mga application, at mga browser para mas tumibay po ang ating seguridad. Number 3, using strong authentication methods such as multi-factor authentication. So, hindi basta-bastang ma-access ng kung sino man yung account mo sapagkat dalawa ang may lalagay na password. Kumbaga may password na po tayo, iba pa rin po yung authentication code na marireceive natin bago po tayo makasign in. Para po makaiwas tayo sa mga gantong panganib tulad ng phishing at hacking, huwag po tayo basta-bastang mag-click. Kailangan po natin i-verify kung legit pa or hindi, lalo na sa mga pagbili ng mga online. Karamihan po kasi sa atin madaming nabibiktima, lalo na sa mga online shopping, kaya doble ingat po. 4, conducting regular security audits and vulnerability assessments. Number 2, detection. Detection involves monitoring systems and network for sign of security incident. Techniques includes implementing security information and event management systems. Number 2, regularly reviewing logs for unusual activity. Number 3, using intrusion detection system or IDS to identify potential threats. So, ano nga ba ang detection? So, ang detection po, ito po yung pag-monitor natin sa ating mga system upang sa ganun ay matukoy natin kung mayroon mang nagaganap na security threats or incident. Number 1, implementing security information and event system. Sa acronym, CM systems. So, ano nga ba ang CM? Ang CM po ay isang system. Ito po yung mga taga-analyze ng pangyayari. For example po, ipagpalagay po natin na ang CM ay isang CCTV. So, pagka may CCTV, masusubaybayan po natin lahat ng mga pangyayari tulad ng mga paggalaw ng mga tao, pag-activate ng mga sensor, ganyan. So, kumbaga, madedetect po natin kung may mga pagbabanta na hacking or phishing. Ganun po ang gamit ng CM. Number 3, IDS. Ang magandang halimbawa po ay ang Gcash app. For example po is may gusto mag-open na hindi po natin kakilala. So, hindi po nila basta-basta mabubuksan yun sapagkat may magme-message po muna sa atin sa mismong number po. At yun, agad natin malalaman na may pagtatangka. Kaya mas mainam po na paigtingin po natin ang ating seguridad, lalo na po sa mga gantong application na may involve ang pera. Last, response. So, ano nga bang response? Kapag may naganap na security incident, mahalagang mayroong agarang tugon upang mabawasan ang pinsala. Number 1, establishing an incident response team with defined role and responsibilities. 2, developing a communication plan for internal and external stakeholders. 3, conducting post-incident review to identify lessons learned and improve future responses. Last, regularly updating the incident response plan based on involving threats and organizational changes. Sa kabuuan, dito po papasok yung salitang pakikipag-communicate. For example po is may kakilala tayo o may barkada tayong hack ang Facebook account. So, bilang kaibigan, tutulungan po natin sila sa pamamagitan ng pag-post o di kaya pagsabi sa iba na pag nag-message yung taong na-hack is huwag na lang po nilang i-click yung link para hindi po lumala ang pinsala. At kapag sa ganun as mas aware po sila sa mga nangyayari. Yan po ang ibig sabihin ng response. Sa madaling sabi, ang prevention ay para sa pag-iwas. Ang detection naman po ay para sa pagsubaybay at pagtukoy ng mga threats o mga pagbabanta ng mga hackers. At ang response naman po ay para sa agarang aksyon kapag may naganap na insidente.